Athanasius Kircher's Egyptian Chronology. This is part 5 on what he numbers the 19th dynasty. Dynastia decima nona, vel undevigintum, quae est Lartum. Dicitur haec dynastia a regibus Lartibus, quorum primus in Aegypto fuit Sothis, vel ut Eusebius vult Zethus, filius Amenophis, qui quatur obeliscis teste Plinio erectis, sacras disciplinas plane restituit, qui conregans aliquantis per, postea succesit Ramesses filius quatur obeliscorum erector. Soti itaque factis functo de inde succesit Lartes secundus, Ramses seu Ramesses nomine, et hunc Sesostris, qui superiores omnes gloriam et rerum magnitudine excessit. Annos triginte tria cum regnasset, vitam desciscientibus oculis finivit, cuius virtute haud facile reperiatur dignum nomen, vir magnanimi, neque sacerdotibus solum, sed et omnibus Aegyptiis admirabilis. Cum eadem animi magnitudine, quam tam egregia facinora perpetrat, mortem opetierit. Ad eo autem diuturna eius gloria, ac gestarum rerum memoria posteros occupavit, ut cum multis postea saeculis, Persis Aegypti imperium tenentibus, Darius Xerxes pater in Memphi suam ante Sesostris statuam ponere contenderet. Princeps sacerdotum publicae contradiceret, asserens illum nondum Sesostris opera aequasse. Quod responsum haud quaquam agere ferens rex, sed laetatus ad modum eam libertate loquendi. Se curaturum inquit ut nihilo illius virtute si tantum modo viveret esset inferior. Sub Sesostre omnes artes et disciplinae maxime hieroglyphicorum doctrina, quam ad modum varii obelisci ab eodem diversis in locis erecti destantur, in summo grado florebant. Expeditiones eius in remotissimas terrarum horas, sumptuosissimas aedificorum structuras, aliasque innumeras virtutes leges apud Diodorum, qui ea omnia fusse describit. Sesostri in imperio successit Amenophis, seu feron filiu alio nomine Nuncorius, hic assumpto patris nomine nulla in re paternam gloria est imitatus. Sed eodem, quo pater conflictatus est, malo oculis enim captus, sive propter communem patris naturam, sive ut quidam fabulantur, propter impietatem erga nilum, cuius cursum iaculatus erat, quomodo autem diis placatis visum receperit, et quos in receptae gratia testimonium erexerit obeliscos, tradit Herodotus, Diodorus et Orosius, et nos in obelisco Pamphilio id fusse deduximus. Porro ferone mortuo regnum occupavit Thuoris, vel ut Herodotus Thonis, aut uti apud alios legitur Thules nomine. Hic Thuoris seu Thules cum Africa iam subjugata in Aegyptum reverteretur, ingressus templum ingenti fastu, oraculum sciscitatus dicitur his verbis. Dic inquit ignipotens veridice beate, qui coelum cursum temperas, quis ante me sibi omnia subicere potuit, aut quis poterit post me. Respondit oraculum, ipse Deus primum de injuncto flammine verbum, haec tamen existunt simul omni et omni in unum, disjunctum veniunt, cuius sine fine potestas, tu certin certum vitae, pede dirige callem. Fuit autem Thuoris seu Thules, ultimus regum Lartum ab Homero dictus Polybus, vixitque circa eversionem urbis Troianae, nam ad eum Menalaum et Helenam post eversam urbem divertisse Homerus ait. Computat Eusebius a 23 aetatis Mossis anno, ad finum huius dynastiae annos trescentissimos septimaginte post quam Aegyptus regibus per annos centessimo septimaginte septim, viduata per familias quastam fuit administrata. The 19th dynasty, which is called Lartesian. This dynasty is named after the Lartesian rulers, of whom the first in Egypt was Sothis, or as Eusebius records, Zethus, son of Amenophis, who, having erected 4 obelisks, according to Pliny, fully restored the sacred disciplines, with whom he co-reigned for a while, and was later succeeded by Ramesses, son of the erector of the 4 obelisks. And so, when Sothis had fulfilled his fate, he was succeeded by the second Lartesian, named Ramses or Ramesses, and he was succeeded by Sesostris, who surpassed all predecessors in glory and greatness of deeds. And having reigned for 33 years, Sesostris ended his own life, with eyes wide open. It isn't easy to find a worthy name for his virtue, a man of great spirit, admirable not only to the priests, but to all Egyptians, since he met his death with the same greatness of spirit with which he had performed such excellent deeds. His lasting glory in the memory of his deeds occupied posterity so much that many centuries later, when the Persians held the empire of Egypt, Darius, the father of Xerxes, contended to set up his statue in Memphis next to Sesostris. The chief priest publicly contradicted him, asserting that he had not yet equaled the works of Sesostris. To which the king Darius answered with no great difficulty that he was happy at his liberty of speaking. He would take care, he said, that he would be inferior to none of Sesostris's virtues, if only he lived. Under Sesostris, all the arts and sciences, especially the study of hieroglyphics, flourished at the highest level, as is attested by the various obelisks erected by him in different places. His expeditions to the most remote corners of the world, the most sumptuous structures of buildings, and countless other virtues of his are described at length in Diodorus. Sesostris was succeeded in his empire by Amenophis, or Pharaon's son, known by the other name as Nuncorius. He assumed his father's name, but in no way could imitate his glory. But by the same evil with which his father struggled, he was captivated by his eyes, either because of his father's common nature, or, as some say, because of his impiety towards the Nile, into whose course he had thrown his spear. But now, having appeased the gods, he regained his sight, and what obelisks he erected in testimony of his recovery of favor is narrated by Herodotus, Diodorus, and Orpheus, and we have explained at length as well in our obelisk of Pamphilus. Moreover, when Pharaoh died, Thuoris, or as Herodotus records, Thonis, or as others read, Thules, took possession of the kingdom of Egypt. This Thuoris, or Thules, when Africa had just been subjugated, was returning to Egypt and entering the temple with great pride. He is said to have inquired of the oracle in the following words. "Tell me," he said, "O Almighty, Blessed One, who controls the course of heaven, who before me was able to subject all things to himself, or who will be able to do so after me?" The oracle answered, "God first himself, then the Word joined to the flame, yet all these things exist together and all in one. They come distinctly, whose power is without end. You take the unsure path of life with most certain feet." Now this Thuoris or Thules was the last of the Lartesian kings, and was called Polybus by Homer, and he lived about the overthrow of the city of Troy, for Homer says that Menelaus and Helen fled to him after the overthrow of the city. Eusebius calculates from the 23rd year of Moses' age to the end of this dynasty a span of 375 years, after which Egypt was abandoned by kings for a period of 177 years, and was then administered by certain noble families.